Now, ladies and gentlemen, with Counter-Strike 2 having been fully released for over a month now, the players have spoken. With a shaky start and dozens of complaints ranging from the game's stability and also communication with the devs, there also lies content. That ranging from CSGO, we're coming soon to CS2. And we also can't forget the countless modes, maps, and features left behind in CSGO. Just recently, on October 28th, Valve did what most thought was impossible, that being to communicate with us, the players. In a recent interview with PCgamer, Valve stated that they had heard our complaints and learned from their previous mistakes inside CSGO. But most importantly, how it relates to today's video is they also discussed their plans for Counter-Strike 2, that being now and in the far future. And to be exact, they meant year one. Today's video, we're gonna look over just that. I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinions, but most importantly, see what's coming soon based off this interview.
Now today's video sponsor is SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a buying and trading marketplace for your CS items. It makes a safe and easy way to trade out your inventory for something new. By using my code MANDO, you can get a deposit bonus of 35% alongside a free $5 in your first trade, with a max bonus if you spend $100 or more. With a large variety of skins, deposit options, alongside daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways, they're doing a great job rivaling other competition. If interested, it'll be at the top of the link in the description below.
Now very quickly, this article is from 2 weeks ago and seems to be a goldmine for questions and answers from Valve. If you have the time, want something to read, I suggest you go check it out. I might answer some of your questions that we don't talk about today. I have a video from just a few weeks ago where we covered this entire interview, but there's many discussions like today's regarding new content that needs its own video because it's a lot more than just briefing over it. Now firstly, I know most of us are eager and interested to see what Valve's plans are, that being for CS2's first case, operation, or possibly something even brand new. But as it goes for year one, Valve said they're going to be flexible towards bug fixes, but more so specifically, in quotations here, player needs. And they also mentioned they'd eventually add content, so a bit of everything. But I think a very important takeaway from all this is just my opinion here, but I believe they're putting a lot of emphasis on fixing the game. Now reading this article from top to bottom and seeing what other devs have said recently about the game, about a current bug, or just any situation, based off those statements, or more so the answers we got, makes me think that they know the game is not in a great state and the players aren't happy. I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Valve isn't stupid. If anything, I actually think they're one of the smartest game developers out there compared to what's available. They can see right now, like everyone else, that the player count is continuing to drop, if possibly even more detailed than we can see. And I believe with evidence based off this past first month of CS2 that they are fixing the game, they're wanting to fix those problems, what's causing people to leave now, but also in the near future. They also stated from the limited test until release, the limited test was far more successful than they first thought it would be, let alone a brand new Counter-Strike game, which that probably was, well, pretty scary for them to do. Step away from CSGO, make a brand new game, scrap everything they had, and start from scratch. Now going back to the limited test, apparently all the devs had a conversation about the limited test and how it should have been possibly longer, or if it should be longer at that time. But here we are today and we all know the end result. That being, they chose to ship out the game, which had pretty much everybody, I'm assuming probably some of the devs, also question this. Now Valve's reasoning for shipping out the game the way it was, in the state that it was, with missing features from CSGO. This, in my opinion, the answer they gave makes the most amount of sense. According to Valve, it was the fastest way to get fixes and things done quicker. And once again, going back to the limited test, I'm not sure if many people know this, either if they're new to CS or maybe just forgot, but for the longest time, a little under 1% of the CS player base from CSGO could actually access CS2. And not all those players either would point out bugs and send them towards Valve. And that also falls under optimization as well. With not a lot of people playing, reporting bugs, sure, a lot of those people could add a different range in parts for their PC. But that's still not enough data for Valve to optimize the game based off just the data they have. So therefore, releasing the game was just the best move. With all the players coming from CSGO, you could expect probably at least 10% of those players would actually report bugs with footage, explanations to Valve of why something happened. Now towards the latter half of the interview, Valve also stated new content such as maps, modes, and also new guns will be coming to CS2 at some point in the future, which the new guns part we did talk about in a recent video. I suggest you go check it out. I gave some examples off some modern weapons that could get added sometime in the future, but just like everything else at this point, it's all pretty vague. That pretty much sums up what their content plans are for now. But what happens after the phase of primarily fixing the game is done? Now a question before that is, when will that be done? And the answer to that is, well, we don't really know. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be at least another 2 to 3 months before the game is, well, playable to most players' standards. And at that point, we're probably going to lose a bit more percentage of the player base. But these fixes and these changes are needed to the game before adding new content. That's the biggest takeaway from all this, in my opinion. You hear everyone screaming about an operation, wanting one, or they think one's coming. It just doesn't really make much sense for Valve to do it right now. Yes, it would bring back some players, but it would only be temporary. If you look at microtransactions in Counter-Strike over the past 2 years, they've been slowing down quite a bit. That's because of their focus and main priority is CS2. And right now, there's no reason why that mentality would change. Adding an operation would add 30 gigabytes of more content that needs to be fixed, that being skins, stickers, any tradable item, but also maps and modes that would come with. So the game would just be in an endless cycle of fix, repeat, add new content, you gotta fix that, but you gotta fix the older things as well, and you guys get the rest. Now this is Luke in the post-edit. After editing a decent chunk of this video, there's a few important things I need to mention, that being Valve's development team. And this all stems stems from Richard Lewis, an esports journalist, who's been a very important figure in the CS scene. His credibility is near perfect. He's exposed dozens of scummy organizations and people. He was also the one who wrote saying Source 2 was coming named CS2 weeks before its official announcement. Just recently, he made a podcast-length video over 4 hours long. I suggest you go check it out and listen to it in the background throughout the day if you have the time. But it explains quite a bit of criticism Valve has gotten over the years, and that is, with how much Valve makes off cases, why don't they hire more people or game developers just for CS? And the quick answer to that is, well, they have. There's just not too many people qualified for the job. I just thought this was really important to mention because I've seen a lot of comments as of recently, and also criticism from myself over the past couple of years and even after CS2's release. Lastly, for today's commentary, I want to end off with a question I know most of us probably have. When should we expect new content? Specific dates or a rough estimate? Now, like I said, this is all my personal opinion. Take it with a very large grain of salt. As of right now, as it goes for an operation, we don't really know much. We've had a few leaks and rumors, also some data mines here and there, but not too much. Before an operation in the past, if that's Operation Broken Fang, Riptide, or even Shattered Web, we would see some things here and there throughout the year before. We have seen some things such as a winter version of Cobblestone and some scoreboard changes here and there, but that could all just be for CS2 itself, not an operation. I think for an operation, Valve could bring back older maps, somehow put them in there, but then you get a little controversial with that, where they would release bugged, so releasing new maps or returning maps from CSGO. The best way to do that would be to have it as a limited test it, where they release one map maybe every 3 to 4 weeks, or maybe once per week, because you have a lot more players now, and then eventually you'd have all the maps, modes, and features just like CSGO did. At this very point in time, we haven't seen a case in almost a year. We're coming up on that mark in February. If we don't see a case by the end of 2023, then I think we'll see one probably the first 2 months of 2024. And as it goes for an operation we don't know anything nor have evidence about, I think it's very possible we could see one in spring of 2024, but there's also quite a bit of reasoning we couldn't have one either. There is the major that's supposed to happen in Copenhagen in March of 2024. If they were to change the map pool, they're not going to do it right before, and if they did, it wouldn't affect the major at all. So it's either going to be in the spring or sometime after, but at the end of the day, it is Valve and we don't really know. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed that commentary of what content looks like for CS2, Valve's plans anyway are. So far, they have followed with what they've said they're going to do. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay positive, stay sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.